everyone, to Superkickin with Steven. That's right, Super Kicking It with Steven, your favorite host right here, Stephen A. 1181, rocking my Batista shirt, and you will see why in just a few minutes. There's a tease for you. I learned something from listening to many hours of sports talk radio. You always got to give the tease. Greg should be here. I am checking Facebook feverishly to see where he's at. So when he comes, he will be on here. But been a couple weeks since we talked about AEW, so we'll get caught up on that stuff. We had Backlash last week. Just a lot of good stuff. AEW Double or Nothing heading into the picture soon. Last weekend of May, then the weekend of June, we have Hell in a Cell. For WWE, we have NXT in your house. It is a busy time. But let's just get started right away with some news and notes. That's right. Mr. Dave Bautista is celebrating, or it was 20 years ago to the date of May 9th, I believe it was, his entrance into WWE, kind of as a preacher, the deacon for Devon Dudley at the time. Then, of course, hooked up with with Evolution, then became the Animal. Just a lot of good stuff for Batista. Now, of course, I would love to give all the ultimate tribute to Batista by playing his theme song while I'm talking in tribute of him. But darn you, Facebook, darn you, YouTube, every other live streaming event that does not allow copyrighted music, because of copyright issues and all that good stuff. So I do not want to get us, off the air with the beautiful tones of I Walk Alone by Saliva, which was Batista's song for many moons. So the only tribute I can think of is to give you some spoken word of I Walk Alone, Batista's theme song. So I need to get ready. I need to get my reading glasses on. There we go. They are on. I hope you are ready for this. Here we go. Tribute to Batista, many years in WWE, Hall of Famer, and just all around good guy outside. So here we go. Are you ready? I Walk Alone by Saliva. This television has a poison on its breath. This counterculture of both wicked lives and death. It makes my eyes bleed every time I turn around. How will they all feel when I bring them to the ground? And I said, I walk for miles inside this pit of danger, a place where no one follows me. I walk alone. Is that good enough? That's good enough, right? When Greg comes back on, hopefully he shows up soonish. I will, of course, endear him with the dulcet tones of that as well. I had a couple thoughts along Batista. First, I was, the age-old question: where does Batista fall in the, legacy of WWE? Where is his ranking per se? And, it's kind of tough. I think he came up right with Brock Lesnar, right with John Cena, right with Randy Orton. I mean, those four were OVW. That's the class that'll never be touched. So it's hard. It's not top 10 for Batista. I don't even know if it's top 20. But outside top 30, sure. Him and Orton are right there. I think Orton with the longevity and the fact that Orton's been so durable and Orton still is succeeding is going to give him the edge. John Cena had, a decade at least of just being on top. And Brock Lesnar, I think even Brock Lesnar's kind of last run really cemented where he belongs. So, if it comes down to it, unfortunately, Batista gets a little probably downplayed because of all that. But, still being a top 30, 30 to 40 range of all-time great performers, I mean, that's, still a really solid career. And like I said, if The Rock isn't going in the Hall of Fame next year, then it's all Batista or Triple H. I mean, that's, those are probably your two choices right now. I think Batista probably makes more sense. Give Triple H a year or so, and then let him, wherever the next WrestleMania will be. But maybe both of them at the same time makes sense too. So, and then also the other question I have is, this move to acting that Batista has done. Where does it compare? Probably to John Cena, and that is where I give the edge to Batista. I mean, being Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy, has to give him the edge. Small role in the Avengers, but being a very focal point of Guardians of the Galaxy, I think kind of a surprise. That I don't know if people expected him to be as well in that role as he is. Now, John Cena has the Peacemaker that I think is going to, really give him an edge as far as the TV show is concerned with another season of that. So, but Batista has some pretty solid movies out there that I think really, have really given him that, interesting favor over John Cena when it comes to movie, TV careers. So we still haven't seen, but John Cena, can hold over the SNL. He's, I believe, hosted a few times. I don't think we've seen Batista host SNL, which I think he'd do awesome at. So maybe that's something down the road. But yeah, both guys definitely making the move from WWE wrestling to, holding their own in movies and TV. So. And then also there was a little bit of news where Paige, former WWE, well, not former, I guess she's still technically listed as a superstar. She said maybe being a manager of Ronda Rousey. Now, we all have agreed and said many a times Ronda Rousey needs a manager. She needs a mouthpiece. She needs something to kind of hold her own on that end because, her promos at times are just all over the place. I think when Ronda can play off someone, she does okay. But like on Friday night, just kind of giving her own spiel is very tough. So now my only qualm against this is Paige really that much better promo wise? At times Paige, I don't think she was. There's nothing of Paige, and I'm like, oh yeah, she's a great promo. So putting her with Ronda Rousey, is that even an upgrade? I mean, the only, you know, the biggest thing has to be Heyman. Give me Paul Heyman with Ronda Rousey. Maybe you could do MVP. I think he's on that level. But yeah, if we're going to give anybody to Ronda Rousey, it's got to be Paul Heyman. I think if we want to see Paige back, maybe as a manager of someone else, maybe someone up and coming. Even though Paige is still young, I mean that's what's interesting as well. I don't think she's even hit 30 yet. So, or just Paige back in the ring overall. So, those were kind of my 2 bits of news. Just kind of still checking the old Facebook to see if Greg will join us. If not, no worries. We'll get him back next week. But yeah, let's do a quick commercial break while we let the tribute to Batista digest and your thoughts on maybe Ronda Rousey and Paige being linked together. So let's do some quick Rogue Energy commercial talk, and then we'll get right back into Raw talk. All right, here we go with some Raw talk. Just some interesting stuff here and there when we look at, RK Bro defeating the Street Profits in a Raw Tag Team title match. I think we're still going back and forth. I think we're still going to keep the Street Profits right there. And then also on the other side, we still have RK Bro and the Usos going at it for a possible title unification match. There's been all the rumblings that said we're not getting any sort of unification match, but then they keep teasing it. So, WWE, you need to either kind of get off it and move on, or actually pull the trigger on it and go with the team that's going to unify those titles for a bit. So that's where I'm a little confused on why we keep teasing it and going with it if you're not going to pull the trigger on it. So Rhea Ripley was welcomed into Judgment Day. That's their name going forward. I like the pairing of Rhea Ripley with Edge and Damian Priest. And there's even talk that Rhea really wants to do intergender matches with Damian Priest. I don't think that will happen. I think WWE is still big on the mixed gender matches, where a guy goes against guy, girl goes against girl. But, who knows? Maybe with Rhea Ripley kind of begging for it, maybe that will change her mind. But the only thing I didn't like about the Rhea Ripley promo, per se, was just saying the fans turned on her, which really didn't happen. Fans have turned on people, and that's why they've had to turn. I think a lot of fans still want Rhea Ripley to do big things. And so going that route, it's the typical heel stuff, but, I didn't necessarily like it. She did defeat Liv Morgan. Then Liv, got destroyed by them, and we had Finn Balor and AJ Styles kind of teaming up to come down, too sweeting down the ring, but not really saving her. I do wonder if we'll get some sort of, Liv Morgan and AJ Styles, or Liv Morgan and Finn against Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. I could see that happening. We also had Finn Balor lose to Damian Priest by DQ, so we did have that happen. I would like to see some sort of tag, maybe Damian Priest and Edge against Finn and AJ in the cell. I don't know if we're going to get it, but I think that would be something to watch. At least we'll get the tag team match. Maybe we'll get a 6-man match for Hell in a Cell, actually. That's probably where we're going with that. So, Bobby Lashley invaded the MVP lounge. We also had Cedric Alexander, kind of getting in the fold. I guess we're going to get another Lashley and Almost match. Probably, that has to be the last match for both those guys. And I don't know where Lashley will go after that. That's a downfall. If he wins, what does that do for Almost? But if Almost wins, he probably can keep moving on. So, also, some other things happened. We had Sonya Deville officially out as a WWE official, and then she was in a match against Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss returned and just destroyed her. Hopefully, Alexa Bliss gets featured down. Hopefully we're not. I think it's been since Extreme Rules we haven't seen Alexa Bliss, and not really sure what the character is. She still had Lily, but almost looked like more of the goddess role. So, maybe trying to work all of her, parts of her character together into that. But we shall see. Ciampa defeated Mustafa Ali. I still think this was the Miz kind of involved with that. So we'll probably get Ali and the Miz at Hell in a Cell. Where does Ciampa get pushed into all that? I still think Ciampa makes a lot of sense for Judgment Day, and I hope that Edge is really vouching for that. Since, Edge did kind of mention they're still looking possibly for more members. So we can't forget that Ken Owens, the brother of Kevin Owens, took out Ezekiel with Alpha Academy. So you kind of wonder who will Ezekiel get to kind of, back his in. Not really sure where that will go, but, Kevin Owens and Ezekiel have made this fun. It shouldn't be this fun, but it is. So Veer got another win. Not much there. Cody Rhodes defeated Theory. Austin Theory by DQ. I do, as much as I want Cody Rhodes to probably win the WWE title or Universal title, I think that US title would look damn good around his waist. And I think he could do the open challenge. I think he could do what he did the TNT title, TNT title in AEW, really build it up and then let somebody beat him for it. So but I still feel like Cody will get featured highly into things as far as the main event picture and Seth Rollins came in to kind of, cause a DQ, take out his throat. I do think we'll see both of them involved in Hell in a Cell. I think Cody and Seth in the cell match just makes a lot of sense, so we'll kind of go there. Another pairing that we just kind of seen put together, Doudrop and Nikki Ash. They got defeated by Sasha Banks, Naomi, obviously. And they definitely don't know what they're doing with Nikki Ash anymore. And I think, like I said, I think the writing's there. It wouldn't surprise me if she's on the release books soon. Doudrop, she kind of had her moment, and then they just kind of gave up. I don't know if they gave up on her or just, moved on, but very interesting that, she was so heavily featured, and now she's, teaming with Nikki Ash. So. And then finally, we had Bianca Belair and Asuka in the match. It ended in no contest because you had Becky Lynch to wreck things. So all three of these women, maybe we won't get the quite, because right now Bianca Belair has no challengers. I mean, that's the downfall. You probably need Asuka and Becky involved with her. So that's why that kind of happened there. I think I'd rather have Bianca have a legit contender, and then you still have Asuka and Becky one-on-one to kind of get away from that title picture for a minute. But right now, there's just no title contenders for Bianca Belair. So it makes a lot of sense that you have to have Asuka and Becky involved in that title picture. Let's talk some NXT. We had, Toxic Attraction defeat Wendy Chu and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne takes the pin. I would have liked, you probably should have had Wendy Chu take the pin because you're really trying to build up Roxanne, but, it is what it is. Joe Gacy tried to get Braun Breaker to join this movement. Of course, the big story there is who are the two hooded figures? Do we see them revealed soon? Probably so. Another interesting caveat of this episode of NXT was how heavily featured women were. I think 21 different women were featured on the 2-hour show of NXT. That's pretty darn good, and not really making a big deal about it, but finally, really featuring women to kind of give them the whole look of things, or give them a high feature on this. Because we have two women's breakout tournament. I was kind of surprised you have Nikita Lyons in. I think she's been featured heavily. I don't think she necessarily needs to be in this, women's tournament, but she was. So there you go. She picked up a win. Fallon Henley picked up a win. And, so there you go. Those women moving on. Alba Fire defeated Amari Miller. Obviously, formerly Kaylee Ray is, picking up wins as her new name kind of, takes off. And I will give the NXT crowd credit to actually challenge Alba Fire. So there you go. Not trying to stick to her name, but we also had Cameron Grimes kind of, getting challenged by Solo Sikoa. And then Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes kind of taking him out, but Solo makes a save. So at NXT in your house, it will be Cameron Grimes and Carmelo Hayes, which, I still don't know if we might just switch the title there. And then also we are going to see the Creed brothers take on Pretty Deadly. I think Creed brothers desperately need a win. We did see Damon Kemp get added to Diamond Mine, so maybe Roderick Strong isn't quite on the out yet. But, you would have to wonder how much longer he's going to be there. So, kind of keep building Diamond Mine that way. Saray and Andre Chase defeated Tiffany Stratton and Grayson Waller. I still do like the teaming of Grayson Waller and Tiffany Stratton. I don't necessarily need them in a relationship like we've seen so many times featured, but I do think we kind of need them at least in a partnership that, they both kind of want to use each other in a way to get what they want. So, and then also Natalya defeated Cora Jade. But the only thing that, the strongest thing here was that Natalya beat Cora Jade via referee stoppage. So we didn't necessarily have Cora Jade tapping out. She didn't quit. She just couldn't continue. That's still, because she still ultimately has to overcome Natalya, I think, when it's all said and done. And in your house, that would make a lot of sense. So there we go. SmackDown stuff. We also, SmackDown was just an interesting kind of show of, like I said, with the whole Arcade Road Usos setting this winner take all tag team unification match. Supposedly going to happen next Friday night. Supposedly. Because who's to say something doesn't happen, but I do think we either need to, as they say, poop or get off the pod with this whole, will they, won't they? Give us a unification match, have a winner, and then you can split up the tag team titles down the road. But you just can't keep it going back and forth and, saying you're not going to do it, then say you will do it, say you won't do it. It just doesn't, it's not making anything better for the tag team division. So, Riddle defeated Sami Zayn, a really strong match. I mean, RK Bro is just, they're probably the most over right now as far as the main roster is concerned. Maybe even all of the whole WWE right now. So, and then Orton just looks like he's having a lot of fun, which is always fun to see. Ronda Rousey wanted to call herself a fighting championship. We did see that Charlotte Flair will be out for some time. I believe there's a talk of her getting married soon to Andrade. I know he hasn't been featured on AEW, so they must be taking some time for that. Maybe taking a few weeks off to get married. Get that all squared away. So we also had Raquel Rodriguez put up a really good fight. I thought looked really good against Ronda Rousey. So I think that looked really good for that. Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss continue their feud. This time, you had Corbin break the Andre the Giant trophy over Madcap Moss. Just showing right there, that he still has issues with him. I don't think we need this feud to continue, but it still continues. So there we go. And then also we had Sasha Banks and Naomi defeat Shayna Baszler and Natalya in the tag team match. Right now, there's just no tag team contenders. We just don't have any tag team for Sasha Banks and Naomi. So I'm going to assume we're still going to get Shayna Baszler and Natalya still going after them. Because right now, I just don't know who else. Also, Butch picked up a big win, as we still have Butch and Kofi Kingston, New Day, Xavier Woods, Ridge Holland, and Sheamus still feuding. Who's going to be the third man to show up for New Day? Because we just eventually need to get them all together. But, we're not getting Big E anytime soon. So we definitely need some sort of, way to even the sides out. But we haven't done that yet. So, that's my SmackDown talk. Still no word from Greg. So, we're just going to keep rolling. And we'll catch him probably next week. I'll give you some AEW news, and I don't know. We'll probably just maybe have a truncated show today. And if he can show up, then he will catch back up in a minute. But haven't heard anything otherwise, so hopefully everything is all right. Let's do another commercial break before we get to the last call. Before we get to AEW talk, and then the last call, and we'll see where we're at with the show. Alrighty, AEW talk. We're heading to Double or Nothing, and right now, we got Serena Deeb, Thunder Rosa, for the title. We have Hangman Adam Page, CM Punk for the title. I believe the buy-in show now will be Hook and Danhausen against Mark Sterling and Tony Nese. We'll get into Tony Nese and how well he picked up a win, but right now, I'm still waiting where, House of Black versus Death Triangle probably should happen in some sort of lights out match or gimmicky match. Maybe we might, we'll have the finals of the Owen Hart tournament, I'm sure, for both sides of the fence, the women's and the men's. I don't know who's going to go after the tag team championship right now. The TNT title, was going back and forth. We definitely have to talk about that, as I'm not sure what they're doing with that right now. I was pretty excited when I saw Scorpio Sky got it back, but then after Friday night, you wonder, well, why is he turning again? So, just some interesting, kind of twists and turns as we head into. But speaking of the Owen Hart tournament, we saw another opening round match with Adam Cole and Dax Harwood. Adam Cole picks up the win, but Dax Harwood gets all the flowers for how well he's performed as a singles guy, and just showing what he can really do outside the tag team. I think that's saying a lot for how strong Dax really is, and even Cash for his own can hold his own. So when they work together, obviously they're one of the greatest tag teams, if not the best tag team right now going. But Adam Cole moves on, and Adam Cole's in a weird spot, I think, because is he losing momentum from where he was? Probably so. I think putting him into the title picture so quickly probably didn't help things. And you just wonder where, maybe a win in this Owen Hart tournament can get him right back going on the right direction. But also see him. So, yeah, I'd be interested to see where Adam Cole's going to go, these next couple of weeks and what he'll do for Double or Nothing. CM Punk won against John Silver. John Silver was all kind of the love story there. He's from Long Island, so it makes a lot of sense. And CM Punk, the CM Punk and Hangman Adam Page is very, I'm kind of losing interest in it, unfortunately. We don't know who to root for. We had Hangman Adam Page kind of feel like he was going heelish in it. Then I thought CM Punk was going heel, kind of turning the crowd against him on Wednesday night. So, and I guess I'm still going to hold out hope that the match delivers. But right now, the story's not there. I think with them kind of not engaging with each other as much, and the video announcement of it. I mean, we didn't really have a pure face-to-face confrontation to really set up the match. We just had a video of it. So it just makes you wonder, where, if people are still into this. Because right now, I don't see the fire there. I don't know what it is, if they just aren't clicking or if they're just waiting to hold back until the match. But right now, there's just something kind of missing from it. And I don't know if they'll get it, if they'll get that spark, even during the match. So, yeah, I don't know if a title change will help things at Double or Nothing, but we'll kind of see where things go. So, speaking of which, we saw the debut of Danhausen, the long-awaited debut of Danhausen in a squash match. That's right, a squash match. I think that tells us where they kind of. I think they will feature Danhausen more as a side character. I don't think he's ever going to be featured highly. Tony Nese picks up a win. I don't know when the last time Tony Nese picked up a win, but hey, he picked up a win here. So next up, we have MJF soaking in all the adulation of his hometown crowd. Wardlow not really getting a lot of love, but comes over or nothing. Wardlow is getting all the love. I think we can assure you of that. So the contract signing was Wardlow will now have to endure 10 lashings, by a whip. I think they did this before in some match. I think it was Cody Rhodes or something. And then there's going to be a steel cage match with Shawn Spears to get the match against MJF. I think, this is just a way to kind of get to the match. I think, if you do that all in one night, it's probably way too much. So it sounds like the lashes will happen next Wednesday night, and I'm guessing the steel cage match happens the week after or that same week. But no matter what, we are getting MJF and Wardlow, and I really do think Wardlow should pick up there. So Ricky Starks picks up the win against Jungle Boy. No, I don't really got any thoughts on that. I just, we're still getting Swerve and um, Keith Lee and Jungle or Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. The other little side story though was Jungle Boy and Christian, and kind of embracing after the fact. I do think we're going to get Christian turning on Jungle Boy, and that probably needs to happen soon. I mean, we had the look in his eyes like he's kind of over this, and I thought you pulled the trigger there, but you do wonder if maybe that might be a match to do Jungle Boy and Christian at Double or Nothing. So, Jericho Appreciation Society victory speech. I don't know what they're celebrating. They won something, but the biggest thing was here the Blackpool Combat Club and Eddie Kingston, along with Santana and Ortiz, even the sides. You kind of had 6 on 5 now. So do you give, Jericho somebody else to kind of have 6 on 6 now, or do you just kind of do an all-out fight? I mean, 3 versus 3 versus 3. I don't know which direction we're going. That's why this was kind of a confusing segment. I think if you want to finish up the story of Eddie Kingston with Proud and Powerful against Jericho and his goons, and then maybe the Blackpool Combat Club step in, but this is kind of a confusing segment, I thought. Tony Storm picks up a win. We'll see. Next up, we do have Samoa Joe facing the Joker, and we also have Brett Baker facing the Joker. So next Wednesday night, we'll see 2 debuts possibly, or 2 new signees if it goes that way. So, and Jeff Hardy in the year 2022 picks up a win against Darby Allin, and I just once again don't agree with it. Darby really needs the win here. Darby needs to move on, and this is an anything goes match, which I think the writing is there that Jeff Hardy just can't do a regular match anymore, and that's definitely that's got to be telling. So you just don't. I don't know. Darby should pick up the win. That's all I got there. Darby should have picked up the win. So, yeah. And then Rampage. We had Death Triangle defeat the Butcher Blade and Mark Quinn, via pinfall. Lights went out. House of Black is there. Lights go back out. And House of Black's not there. I assume that's going to be a lights out match at Double or Nothing, or some sort of, gimmicky. I wish I could think of something kind of different, maybe outside the box, but right now it probably just makes sense to do the old lights out match. Then that way neither team gets hurt by the win or the loss. So, Sean Spears defeated Bear Boulder by pinfall and then took him out with a chair. Just kind of building up Sean Spears. Ruby Soho won. She moves on in the women's Owen Hart tournament match. And then also Frankie Kazarian was defeated by Scorpio Sky and even taken out by Scorpio Sky. But then you have Sammy Guevara, who's still a heel, kind of still going after, and I think he even had his own TNT title, and he was going after, Scorpio Sky, who's kind of a heel now. I'm just confused by which direction they're going. This is like the Hangman Adam Page and CM Punk. I just don't know who to root for right now. I would have thought that, we'd have, Scorpio Sky the face, even if I don't care for Dan Lambert. And, you have Sammy Guevara, who definitely has just really turned unlikable lately as a heel. But now we're just going in an odd direction with it. So, yeah, we'll just kind of see where things go with that. But, yeah, that's kind of what I got for AEW. Still no word for Greg, and not even active since 3 hours ago. So, I will assume he is not going to be able to make it tonight, which is okay. Like I said, we'll kind of get him next week as we go into our last call and kind of wrap up the show here.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Dan over at BWSPORTS1.com and Black and White Sports. And I'm wondering if you're ready to buy or sell that home, now's the time, and I got just the person for you. Mr. Sean Nugent, a.k.a. Rockstar Realtor himself. 317-503-8322. Put that home on the market. Get into your dream home with this man. Talk to Sean at Talk to Tucker today, 317-503-8322, and make sure you tell him the boys over at BWSPORTS1.com sent you.
Alrighty, we're at our last call. As you can see, I wasn't quite ready for it. I messaged Greg earlier and said, "Hey, it's all yours," because I knew I hadn't given it yet. So unfortunately, I don't have a last call. But definitely thank you for tuning in, and we'll get back to the full out show next week as we catch back up with Greg and get him back on here. Last call is, go Batista. My favorite Batista movie is obviously Guardians of the Galaxy. Even though I did enjoy the, now of course I won't remember the name of it, but the movie that he was with an Uber driver. Oh man, now I can't. Now of course I have to look him up and see what the name of the movie was, and I can't of course do that as I'm talking, but it was. I even watched it, and now I can't remember it. Stuber. Yes, it's Stuber. With Kumal Najia, who was in the Eternals, and that was Batista. Kind of a fun little, comedy, action, all that good stuff. So, then he was in Dune, which earned a lot of stuff, a lot of awards. I have not seen his Army of the Dead, but I believe that's a Netflix special. And so Batista has quite the roles as a movie star. But obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy is high on the list of. They just wrapped up filming, so we'll get that third one, I believe, next year. And I think that'll be kind of cool to see the all tied together what's going on there. So, other than that, I will let you guys know where Greg ran off to next week. And we'll just kind of finish up the show there and call it a day. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Catch us next week on Super Kicking It with Steven.